Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mr. Elliott, and y'all, I am in my classroom, but I am not sitting at my desk. I am sitting at my student's desk. So this is my classroom, my sixth grade math classroom, and I know you're wondering, like, Elliott, what is going on with you? Why are you sitting in a student's desk? Okay, why? Because I am a student again, okay? Y'all know I'm in my master's program as well as another program. Y'all know I love, money and excelling and putting extra titles and extra letters on my last name. And so I am starting a 5-week accelerated program this spring. And I want to take you guys along the journey with me. So every Saturday, your boy, Mr. Elliott, is stuck in an online Microsoft Teams class from 8:30 all the way through 12:30. And I'm learning everything about being an amazing yet effective teacher in this 2025 streets, okay? If anybody is a teacher, you all let me know some comments down below. Just shouting yourselves out, celebrating you all, celebrating us as educators, because it's a different breed of kids, okay? We could talk more about that along the lines of kind of how education is kind of womp right now. But come along with me, you all. This is just the introduction. You're going to see me teaching just a little bit. You're going to see me doing some homework. You're going to see me in class. Different ways how I navigate being, first of all, a black male teacher. Not only a black male teacher, but a math teacher, because sometimes we always deem black teachers as PE teachers or the health teacher or the coach or the science or the social studies, but you never see black males teaching physical core classes like math, algebra, ELA. We never see each other in those kind of categories. So come along with me, leave some comments down below, and stay tuned for Back in the Desk, a 5-week episodic series here on the Mr. Elliott Experience. Okay, come along with me. Let's go. So one part of my classroom was about kind of like how I set up a board, okay? So this is the big board. Excuse those scuff marks right there, just whatever. The pit stop over here is where I place like all of like my word walls, vocabulary. Of course, we're about to start a new unit, so nothing is right there. Right here is the board that never changed. I decided to do kind of like a, construction, transportation things. So we have tools for success. And these are just motivational quotes like stay in focus, follow directions, keep organized, make good choices, hard work, be a problem solver, ask for help when you need it, be yourself, and just some road or transportation kind of displays. And then over here, as you see, it's a little beat up, because this is my scholar wall. So this is where I put my top students at. Around the corner, I have some anchor charts. Over here was supposed to be, quote unquote, my small groups area, but I have a class of like 30 plus. And so, of course, you have desks around my small group area. Just some more positive affirmation signs. Pay no close attention to my blinds that have not been fixed since the first day of school. And they always want us to have anchor charts. So you see unit 5, unit 1, where we talked about greatest common factor, least common factor, some more motivational quotes. Unit 1, where we talked about area, length, width, face, edge, vertex, perpendicular. And then over here, we just finished unit number 5, where we talked about long division. So in long division, I kind of made it look like a house. So you have your divisor, your roof, your quotient, your dividend. So inside of your house is your dividend. Outside of your house is your divisor. Up on the roof of your house is your quotient. Just some helpful hints. Does it go in there evenly? Get as close as you can without going over. So this is kind of like a key example of how I kind of taught long division within unit number 5. All right, back on me. So as you see from behind me, I have around 36 desks and a table back there. It was, like I said, it was supposed to be for small groups, but cancel that. But my desks are in rows. Rows for me help me to see all of my kids. Most of the time I'm lecturing from my Promethean board. And so I can see each individual, if they're working, if they're talking, if they're not following simple directions. I can see that when they're faced in rows versus in a group. One thing I would say about if you're teaching middle school and high school, or really middle school, because I did teach 8th grade math for 2 years, teaching in groups, there are going to be a lot of students that talk. I don't like a whole bunch of talking. Now, what I mean by talking, not talking about the actual assignment. Side conversations is what I'm talking about when I'm saying talking. So I do like my kids to talk, but talking about the unit, talk about the lesson, talk about the vocabulary, talk about easy strategies to help you achieve the correct answer, not talk about who dating who and who on TikTok and who on Snapchat and who you sharing talkies with, okay? So I broke my kids down into rows in this way that I can physically see them, and it just makes it a better learning environment. You can always tell your kids to talk to their elbow partner. So if you are sitting in seat number 3, your elbow partner would be student in seat number 2. All right. If I say, hey, turn behind you and talk to your person behind you or in front of you, of course, student number 4 will talk to student number, it's supposed to be a number 8 back here. But that is the way I love my classroom to be ran. Okay, my back door or my door is that way. So I'm still able to see all of my students learn, okay? All right, so y'all, we back home, or we are at home, out of my classroom, clearly back at home. And I literally, last night, just submitted in my first 3 assignments for this 5-week kind of program. So one of the assignments was a pathway to equitable classroom with culture of high expectations. So basically, it was kind of like your systems of procedures. So I am not first year teacher. I've been in the classroom a little minute. And so a lot of these questions were like very easy to answer and quickly put in like a Google Doc form and submit it in. So they gave us kind of like a rubric. You know, a rubric is kind of like a little guideline how to go by and questions that we had to kind of answer. So it was broken down into certain parts. So part 1 is basically brainstorming your visions for your classroom, designing your classroom, and procedures. Simple, okay? So number 1, it was the classroom theme. Next, it was kind of like entering your classroom. So how are these kids going to be entering in your classroom? Number 2 was exiting your classroom. 3 was transitioning within your classroom. 4, classroom participation. 5, personal needs like staying in your seat. How are you going to ask for certain things, maybe while you're lecturing or while you're teaching or while you're working on small group, things like that. Bathroom, sharpen pencils, go get a tissue, basically transition around the classroom, how you're going to be able to get my attention. 6, did I say 5? Well, 6 Chromebooks. You know, we live in a technology era, especially after what happened in 2020. Every student is assigned a Chromebook, even though that my students are on a Chromebook from 5 years ago and they have not gotten new Chromebooks. But I digress. I'm not trying to clock no T. All right. But anyways, and then also cell phones. So basically, I wrote down my theme for this year. My theme, as you saw in the previous clip, my theme was kind of like a transportation. So I kind of gauged on how I would utilize that transportation, stop signs, road signs, motivational quotes within my classroom. Entering my classroom, so how should students enter safely, quietly, starting on their warm-up. I would have it on my Promethean board, or I would give them a sheet of paper, giving them a task out of their workbook to do. How are they going to be entering in the classroom? Some classrooms are a little bit crazier than others, but up in my classroom, you come in quietly, you go to your seat, and you sit down and start your work. Exiting the classroom. One thing about me, the bell don't dismiss you. I don't care how annoyed I am. You just don't get up and walk out my classroom. Whether you seated, whether I call individual roles, like y'all see my classroom set up in roles, where I call each individual student, or I just, hey, this is what it is. Y'all have a good day. Y'all have a good weekend. That's how you exit my classroom. It ain't no brrr, and then you leave. All right? That was my bell. Okay, that didn't sound like no bell. Anyways, I digress. The next one, transitioning within my classroom. So how I love for my kids to try to transition in my classroom. Raise your hand. I have a thing called 15 lecture 15 or 10 lecture 15, whatever it is. Basically, them first 10 or 15 minutes of class, you can't go nowhere. When I am lecturing or when I'm teaching, you can't go nowhere. And then the last 10 or 15 minutes of class, you can't go nowhere. So it's kind of like a 20 to maybe 30-minute window that I will allow kids to, go to the bathroom. If you need to raise your hand and ask me questions, come up to my desk, or if you need me to migrate over to your desk, just simply raise your hand. It's simple like that. But everybody yelling, walking around, throwing stuff in the way, sharpening pencils. I don't believe in pencil sharpeners in my room either. I still have like the ones where you have to wind up because I don't like that cranking sound or that electric. I know they make silent ones. Ooh, that did not look right. That did not look right. But yeah, y'all know what I mean. The electric pencil sharpener that you put in and it turns. Hate the sound. The next one, classroom participation. I value classroom participation. If I answer a question, whether I cold call, whether I spin like a little spinner like on a digital app, whether I say, hey, somebody with black Crocs on, if I say, hey, I need a female with short hair, with long hair, I need a boy that is wearing, I don't know, Air Force Ones or Jordans or blue Crocs. That is how I kind of gauge for classroom participation. And the more you participate in my class, the better you understand. So I also hold them accountable. I give them positive feedback, respect towards each other, and then just simple communication. I'm very simple when it comes to communicating with me in a classroom as long as you come with me in the right manner. Personal needs, staying in your seat. Simply raise your hand and simply ask me a question. That's how I gauge my classroom. My classroom is very orderly, have great classroom management skills, so ain't really too much you can really do act weird or Looney Tune, as I call it, in my class. Like I said, bathrooms, raise your hand. There's a certain time limit. Pass, go. And one thing about my room, I have my room is kind of like at the bottom of the hallway. So if I leave my door open, I can see the men's and the women's bathroom, or the girls and the boys' bathroom. And if you in there too long, I will bust up in there and come on out of there. And the last room, Chromebooks. Each child is assigned a Chromebook, and don't be on a Chromebook and say until I say, hey, take out your Chromebooks, log into this website, or log into your Canvas. We ain't on no Chromebooks playing no games. And also cell phones. I teach 6th grade. Our school now, this year, is a no cell phone school. Last year, I taught 8th grade, and the year before that, for the past 2 years, I taught 8th grade. This year, I teach 6th grade. So it's a lot different. 8th graders were always on their phone, but 6th graders, you can kind of scare them and tell them don't be on their phone. So phones are not really a problem. But I encourage parents to know that, cell phones in the schools, it ain't really the thing. That is not the way to go, especially in this generation, because we have so many different learning levels within school now. Cell phones, turn them off, keep them at home. If you want to reach your child, just call the school. We have phones in our rooms now, and it's quicker actually to call the school than reach your child on the cell phone, because most of the time they're always off or they lost. But yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow in class, and we're going to wrap up episode 1 of Back in the Desk. All right?
That when we exit the classroom, we're walking in the halls, we're at a voice level of 0, and we're walking to the right on a colored square. What does that look like transitioning from class to class? Some elementary, I think K2 probably does not, or maybe K3 does not. In my school, 4th grade, we actually transition. So lower elementary, there's very little transitioning from class to class. But for my school, particularly 4th and 5th graders, we do transition from class to class. What does that look like?
So as you saw in the previous clip, I was sitting in class. We have a 30-minute break. But to sit stationary, because that's one of our requirements, from 8:30 all the way to 12:30, y'all, it is so rough. Like, I be wanting to get up. I be wanting to turn my camera off. If you were an educator like I was back in those remote learning days, those Zoom school days, y'all knew, baby, that camera was off. If I didn't feel like being on camera, the camera was off. If I didn't feel like talking, if I didn't feel like writing in the chat, I did not. But y'all, it is a requirement that our cameras have to be on. We have to be engaging, so that means in the chat, writing physically on paper, clicking back slide to slide, clicking on links. Like, at 8:30 in the morning, I am not here, especially on a Saturday. Like, it is absolutely rough, okay? From 8:30 to 12:30. I know some of y'all like, Elliott, that's easy. Okay, you sit at a computer for like 4 hours and be engaging, okay? With your camera on. But yeah, taking a little break right now. We have a 30-minute break. I'm about to bounce back on. We have one session is like in the morning, and then like our late morning session is like our content area where we deep dive more into our content. Some of you may not know, again, I'm a 6th grade math teacher, so my content is like 5th, 6th grade or middle school education math. So let's see how the start to week number 2 goes, and I will see you all in the next week's episode, all right? If I don't have to come back, but I may or may not come back. But let's close it out. See y'all later. Bye, y'all. Thanks for watching.
In their home. I actually have a student from Columbia this year, so I did give her the opportunity to tell us, like, what is it like? What are your foods? What's your favorite food?